Welcome into this edition of the Rock Pod from the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. A little bit of an unusual setup for this episode today. So we have Matt Lifter from Motor City Auto Spa, and we had to finagle a couple things because, Matt, if I get this right, you're in the middle of towing a customer's car that broke down right when we were about to record?
Yeah, I was trying to get it over to a shop to get it fixed up for them. Not a big deal. Sorry about the delay.
No, we're happy to have you. I am John Gay from Jagged Detroit Podcasts.
I am Lisa Bibby, your neighborhood realtor with Keller Williams Advantage.
I'm Trish Caruth, third-generation jeweler and owner of Your Personal Jeweler.
I'm Andrea Arndt, an attorney at Dickinson Wright. So, Matt, give us a little background about you. What do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, a little background on me. I've been detailing since 1988. I've been detailing since high school, basically, since the 80s. And then I continued detailing on as I was in a different career for 15 years in Troy, Michigan. We were a music distribution company, the largest in the world, basically. So I spent 15 years there at a company called Handelman. And when iPod sales took off, our industry started eroding, and the company did not change the format fast enough. We were supplying CDs and software, video, books, DVDs to Kmart, Walmart, Circuit City, Best Buy, things like that. And then we have teams of people that were servicing the music departments. But basically the company eroded away and it shut down, like 3,500 people. It was sad. So then I was left in 2007, 2008, when the economy,
Bit it.
went down in a recession, and I was trying to figure out what am I going to do. And I knew I was good at detailing. So basically, out of an act of desperation, started Motor City Auto Spa. 1 block from my house was a building that sat vacant on 11 Mile in Woodward. It was empty for about 7 years. The roof was caving in. There were trees growing out of the roof. It was 1 block from my house, and I just thought there's a need for this type of work. So I went ahead and started the business 13 years ago. We have 2 shops now in Royal Oak, one at 14 in Coolidge on Delamere Court and one at 11 in Woodward. About 16 employees. And then some of my hobbies are, obviously, I'm into cars. I've got a couple old classic cars, like an old 1930 Rat Rod. I don't have to wash or wax it. That's why I like it. And then I got a Model T, a 1923 Model T, and a 65 Beetle. A bunch of weird cars. And other than that, I'm a Royal Oaker. I spend a lot of time in the city. Both shops are here at my house, so...
Well, I love the idea that you created a business and a spa day for your car. I'm curious, how long does it take when you actually drop your car in to get it detailed?
Sure. We have a variety of packages all on the website. We have interior packages, 4 or 5 hour process, exterior package, 4 or 5 hours. A full complete package is a full day process. We have a silver, gold, and platinum complete. The main difference between those is how scratched up your vehicle is. So if you take your car through the local car wash down the street 3-4 times a week, you're really going to start scratching and marring up your clear coat, getting swirls and scratches. So the gold is extra polishing time. The platinum is even more polishing time. So sometimes guys just want to try to bring back that new car look completely, and that just takes a lot of polishing if you've really scratched your car up badly. And then we have underbody packages. We're also one of Michigan's largest paint protection film installers, which is called Expel.
So you said that when you were 18 years old, you got into detailing. How did that happen?
Actually, 15.
Oh, 15. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I was 15. I started at detailing at a shop in downtown Rochester while I was in high school. And that shop is still in business. And I actually refer business over to him, and he refers business to me. Because we book out so far, we give people an option of, hey, go to my competitor. I know they do good work. We're cool like that. But so I did that all through high school. And that's kind of how I learned the trade. And I've just taken additional steps in different categories of detailing.
Matt, can you tell us a little bit about your window tinting service? I know Michigan and other states have different laws around it. So what's the procedure behind that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we're tinting cars every day. You can go as dark as you want in the rear end of the vehicle. You can even, some customers will have us do limo 5% tint on the rear doors, the rear glass. And then sometimes they'll have us do a lighter shade on the front doors. Some people won't have us tint the front doors because Michigan law requires you to have a light sensitivity test to have your front windows tinted. So that's up to the customer to get that test. But sometimes people have us tint the front windows. Sometimes they don't. It's just whatever they prefer.
Yeah, funny story. I bought one of my favorite cars. It was an Audi TT, and it had really dark tinted windows, and it was white, a 6-speed cold air intake. Freaking love that car. And, it was a really dark tint. And I lived in Wisconsin at the time, and the tint laws were pretty restrictive, but, the cops didn't seem to mind. Well, I went down to Chicago, and I was going Christmas shopping, and my car is parked, and it's in the evening, and it's rainy, and I get a $275 ticket in a parked car. Darn parking enforcement.
Wow.
And their laws are less restrictive than Wisconsin. But of course, if I go down there again, they're going to give me another ticket if I fight it. So,
yeah, sometimes we do have occasionally, knock on wood, occasionally people say, hey, I got a ticket for the front glass. Can you take off my tint? So then we'll take it off for them. But sometimes they'll just take it off, show they took it off, and then ask us to retint it. It's just, whatever they prefer.
Andrew, it's a good thing you didn't ask for ketchup on your hot dog. Your ticket would have been even more.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. And we also have 2 levels of window tint. We have standard called CS, and then we have a tint called XR that blocks heat. So it blocks about 88% of IR rays. So if you're looking for heat rejection when you're driving and the sun's coming through the window at you, the window tint keeps you cooler. So we have that option for customers as well.
Very cool. It's interesting. So I was test driving cars once in a different state, and they had less restrictive laws, and they had their windshield tinted. And if you drive at night, it was really hard to see out of.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't recommend that.
Yeah, we do have a lot of customers that actually ask us to tint their windshield. I usually stray away from it, number one, because of that reason. And number two, window tinting is a wet install. So you have to squeegee the moisture out from between the film and the glass. And that moisture going down the dash back behind where that window is at the bottom, you never know what type of risk electrically you could get involved with. So I typically stray away.
So one of my favorite things is auto detailing. That was one of my presents my husband gave me when I got married, and periodically through our lives. It's always such a relief to get all the Cheerios out of the back seat and have that new car smell and just have a beautiful car again. Can you give us a little more detail of what you actually do to detail the cars?
You want detail on the detail.
Exactly.
Yeah, the detailing of the detail. For sure. It's quite elaborate if I run step by step. I mean, I can give you a quick synopsis of a complete, basically, which is inside and out. We would pull the car in the shop first, and we would blow out with a high pressure air all the nooks and crannies under the seats, next to the seats, and we literally try to blow the dirt out of the carpet. Because when you go to extract that carpet, if you don't get the dirt out, it turns it to mud. So you got to really get the debris out of the carpet and vacuum and blow and vacuum. And it just sometimes can take quite a while, especially if there's dog hair or if there's a lot of salt and dirt. So we got to get that out first. Then we wash the car and then do the engine if the customer wants an engine detailing. It's an option. It's an add-on feature. And there's obviously an engine waiver that we have them sign because of potential electrical risk with the engine. Knock on wood. It's rare that things happen, but they can anytime you put water on an engine. Then we wash the exterior, we clean the wheels with brushes, get the brake dust off. Then we rinse off the car. Then we clay bar the car with a clay disc and a lubricant, basically. And what the clay barring process does is remove the contaminants that are stuck to the paint, like rail dust from your brakes. Your brakes create something called rail dust in the detailing term, or in the industry, that creates little yellow rust speckles on the exterior of your car. If your car is white, it stands out obviously a lot more than a black vehicle, but it makes your surface of the vehicle very rough. So we clay bar it and smooth the paint back out. And then we come out of the wash bay and then we start cleaning and toothbrushing the interior vinyl, the door panels, the vents, all the steering wheel, the shifter, all the seats. Then we shampoo the carpets with hot water extraction. We thoroughly get all the dirt out of the floor mats. We give the customer an option if they want shine on the dash and door panels or no shine. So that's an option when they come in. And then we would go to the exterior of the vehicle and start polishing it. We use a tool called a rupees, which is a special movement, doesn't create holograms on the paint, to polish the vehicle. And then we would wax the vehicle. Touch-up paints included as well. We wipe out the door jambs. We leather condition the seats and obviously clean the glass, the trunk. And basically, it's a full day process to go through all those steps.
I was curious about paint protection, and I've heard about a protection film called Expel. Could you go into that a little bit more detail for us? And what is the length of time? Like, how often do you have to get this put on your car?
For sure, yeah. So we kind of have a division of Motor City Auto Spa that focuses on protection. And there's two areas of protection that we specialize in. One is the Expel that you were referring to, which is paint protection film. It's a 10-year warranted film that is a self-healing film. So literally it's a clear, we call it a clear bra. Remember the old school days where they'd put leather bras on the front of their cars to protect it from chips? Well, this is a clear polyurethane self-healing film that once it's installed, you don't even know it's on the car. And it stops all that road rash and peppering that happens from our great Michigan roads. And it just keeps your paint underneath like new. So in 10 years or whenever, you can peel it off and your paint underneath is still like new. So we do it on a lot of high-end cars, but we have guys coming in with the Ford Broncos, the new Bronco, or whatever. They just don't want chips because our roads are kind of falling apart. So you can do front-end clips, you can do the lower rockers, you can do full body wraps with the paint protection film. And obviously, the price is dependent on how much coverage you want.
So if you're doing just a front end, do you actually see a line since it's clear? Like, can you tell the difference of where it stops?
Sure. So you have an option as what we call a standard front end kit, which is a partial hood, partial fender, and full bumper and mirror caps. In that case, if you do a partial hood and fender, you would at the right angle see the film coming across the hood and then down the fenders. But if you did a full front end kit, full hood, full fenders, bumper, mirrors, and headlights, you wouldn't see the film at all. But again, price can be anywhere from a standard kit of $950 to a full front end of $1,899 and up, depending on the car. But that's a rough price idea. So it sometimes it's a budget issue for some people. Some people, they just want to make sure their full front end's protected from, all those big giant boulders bouncing down the road. And then the next aspect of protecting is a ceramic coating. So we're a certified installer of OptiCoat Pro. It's a liquid ceramic that comes in a needle. Once we make sure your paint is prepped properly, polished properly, we would apply this ceramic coating to the entire vehicle. And price is dependent upon the size of the vehicle and paint condition. If it's a brand new vehicle, we have a set price. But if it's a car that's gone through the car wash 800 times, we have to do paint correction first, and then we can ceramic coat it. So the advantage with the ceramic coating is, think of it as a wax that you cannot wash off the car. It's chemical resistant. It's harder than the clear coat of the vehicle once it's dried. So it's resilient. It keeps your shine, the hydrophobic properties, longer than anything else. And we have a 3-year, a 5-year, a 7-year, and even a lifetime coating. So we have 4 levels of pro-grade certified coatings that we can offer to put it on your vehicle.
So, Matt, I know you deal sometimes with underbody detail, rust neutralization. I had a situation, I left Detroit and moved to New Orleans for about 3 years in 2013. And I guess the residual salt from the roads in Michigan interacted with the humidity when I was down in New Orleans and really rusted a hole in the muffler of my car after about a year in New Orleans. Have you ever heard of something like that? And what kind of stuff can you do to save the undercarriage of a car?
Yeah, so the muffler, there's nothing much that we can do. There's 3 things that we do relating to the undercarriage of vehicles. One, we just have a steam cleaning process. We get a lot of guys that at the end of winter, they'll ask us to steam clean and degrease the undercarriage to get rid of the salt. So we have lifts at both locations and steam pressure washers, 220 degree steam pressure washers and degrease, and we clean the undercarriage of the vehicle. And then also that can also prep the frame for when we are going to POR 15, which is a rust neutralizing paint that we literally have to brush on the frame of the vehicle, the rear axle, cross members. Those are for trucks that are cars that are already showing rust, and it helps slow the rust down and helps maintain the frame. You still have to every so often get back underneath and do it again because it's Michigan. Even new cars can't survive it. So we POR 15 it. Lately, we've also been spraying an eco-friendly oil underneath new cars that are not really that rusty yet. We'll clean them and we can spray something like fluid film on the frame, rear axle, the floor pans, brake lines, all that kind of stuff. And it basically penetrates, neutralizes rust, stops rust, protects everything. They recommend once a year, once every 2 years to fluid film the undercarriage. So we've been getting our hands into that. There's other companies out there that do similar products. That's all they do is undercoating. It's not like the old school Z-Bart, black, gooey, rust proofing stuff that I know doesn't work because I see what they look like underneath vehicles. But the fluid film is a really good idea, the clear oil. And then for guys that have major rust issues, we can POR it to help kind of slow down. It makes the frame look pretty as well.
In your experience in Michigan winters, if people don't take good care of their undercarriage, how quickly does it start to rust?
You know what? It depends on the manufacturer. So a lot of cars nowadays don't even have frames. They have unibodies, and they use a special metal underneath, like a floor pan, so you don't see a frame. We're not seeing rust on those newer model vehicles without frames. But it's funny when you look at like Chevy, Ford, Dodge, trucks, or cars that have frames, those tend to rust in about a 2-year window. I have a 2019 F-250. And my frame has been good up until this winter. So it's in its second winter. It went through its second winter. So now I got to get under and I'm going to do some touch-up POR. And then I'm going to oil it in my spare time. I'm having issues finding spare time. Or I might see a Dodge where after one winter, there's rust everywhere. Or Chevys. It just depends on how the manufacturer preps their metal.
So you mentioned that in 2 years, your car started showing signs of rust. Did you do an underbody treatment when you first got the truck, or is that something that you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot on brand new vehicles. Like lately, I've done some brand new fluid film oilings on some brand new cars. It definitely is a great thing to do right out of the gate. I wish I would have done it. It was just a time thing. It's hard for me to work on my own projects, but I got to find some time pretty soon to get under there and clean it and do the POR 15 in some spots where the rust is like starting to show on some of the welds underneath the truck. And then I'm going to fluid film it, the whole undercarriage.
Is there a car color that hides the dirt on cars more than others? Or is there a coating that helps to hide the dirt?
No, nothing that will hide the dirt. But I mean, obviously a metallic gray car might not show as much dirt, or a silver. White obviously shows. Black obviously is a horrible color. We get lots of black cars in because we can make them look really pretty. It's just they're the ones that start to show the swirls really fast. Even though the other colors are swirling just as bad and scratching, it's just on a silver or a white car, you don't see what you do on a black car.
I got to say, hands down, I've got a black car. My boyfriend's got a car that's the color of like a beige khaki color.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, his car never looks dirty. And mine's dirty. I drive it just up to the gas station and back, and it looks dirty. So I kind of think I'm going to get the khaki beige color next time.
Yeah, for sure. And when you put a ceramic coating on your car, it keeps your car cleaner because it's so hydrophobic. So a lot of guys say, oh my gosh, the dirt falls off the car a lot better when it's ceramic coated.
Matt, what does hydrophobic mean?
Think of hydrophobic as being like when you wax your car and it's very, the water stands up on end and rolls off the car. It's resisting water. You know, it's not sheeting. It's falling off the car faster.
Matt, so I want to talk to you. The Dream Cruise is coming up. So how does that affect your business? And do people need to book in advance? Because do you get busier during that time with everybody prepping their cars?
Yeah, so here's the issue with Dream Cruise is even with 2 shops and my team of 16, you only can fit so many cars in our shops, right? So we are booked out 6-7 weeks ahead right now. And every year, the Dream Cruisers tend to call me the week of Dream Cruise and ask if we can get them in. And unfortunately, we're booked. Of course, the regulars know to book early and get in, so we're able to get them in. But we do get a lot of phone calls every year just saying, hey, can you get me in? And unfortunately, I only can work on so many cars a day because it's so time consuming and labor intensive that I can't squeeze cars in because nothing is automated here like an automated car wash. Everything is done by hand. So it's good to be booked out far, and it's bad because every day on the phone, I am losing customers. Our regulars, sometimes they'll call us in the middle of winter for a spring appointment just because they know.
Good to be prepared. So what is one of the coolest cars you've ever worked on?
That's a great question. You know, years ago at the 11 Mile location, we had a Porsche. I think it was like a 69 Le Mans racer. It was a very unique car that I think had very high value. Just because it was raced at Le Mans, I think it was a unique car. But we've done everything from Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all kinds of Porsches, Rolls Royces. We do everything from minivans to pickup trucks to your Maserati and Ferrari. It doesn't matter. I don't know if I specifically have a favorite. We just try to get them all looking good. Sorry about the train.
So, Matt, and now it is time for our most exciting portion of the episode where we ask you a fishbowl question of the day. We pull a totally random question just for you. John, can you pull the fishbowl question of the day?
All right, Lisa, let's see here. Oh, this is like perfect for Matt. Okay. Matt, if you could go on a road trip anywhere, where would you go and what famous person would you want to go with?
Oh boy. Maybe somebody like Elton John so I could hear all of his crazy stories. Be a lot to talk about in the car.
I want to go on that road trip with you.
You know, something like that. I don't know. Wouldn't be boring.
He's got some stories, that's for sure.
Or Mick Jagger.
Oh, even more.
Maybe Mick Jagger, because I'm sure he's got a couple.
There you go. And Matt, you've had some stories for us today, too. So we want to thank you so much for being on the Rock Pod from the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. If somebody wants to contact you at Motor City Auto Spa, what are the best ways to find you?
MotorCityAutoSpa.com or call 248-AUTO-SPA, which is 248-288-6772.
So my name is Andrea Arndt. I am an intellectual property attorney at Dickinson Wright, and I help my clients protect their brands and their inventions. You can find me on LinkedIn and on our company website, www.dickinsonwright.com.
I'm Trish Caruth, third-generation jeweler and owner of Your Personal Jeweler. I specialize in creating custom engagement wedding rings and fine jewelry. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Personal Jeweler or on our website, www.thepersonaljeweler.com.
My name is Lisa Bibby. I am a realtor with Keller Williams Advantage. I put the real back in realtor. There is no such thing as a silly question, so feel free to reach out to me if you have any real estate questions. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Sold by Lisa B.
I am John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. If you like the way today's podcast sounds, I can help you create a podcast for you, your business, or your nonprofit. You can find me at www.jagindetroit.com or on social at Jag in Detroit. I want to thank you for checking out this episode of The Rock Pod presented by the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. Reminder, you can follow this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone.